looseness of the body and mind. My name is Emory M. Jr., and this is Exercise and Movement Techniques. Today I have the honor and the privilege to interview Master Longfei Yang, and I believe your style is 7-star praying mantis.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about your background and your training. I believe we were discussing earlier that you started in Mongolia.
That's right.
And you started at the age of 6.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, what was that training like? Who was your first teacher?
It's my grandfather.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a master of?
Yeah, he's traditional medicine, Chinese traditional medicine, and he's teaching me about traditional Yang style Tai Chi.
So you had also a background a little bit in the healing aspect, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm very interested, but that age most I'm interested in very external side of martial arts. That's why I did through another Master Yang. He teach me Shaolin.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when the younger than most time contributed a lot of external training.
So you were with your grandfather for a number of years and then you transferred to another master.
Yeah.
So when did you encounter 7-star praying mantis, and why is that your thing? Because obviously you gravitate around 7-star as opposed to, you have such a history, a rich tradition, I'm sure you could be teaching a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because beginning through the age, you always think something bigger or faster or aggressive is better.
I see.
Yeah, that's why I did long first, Shaolin long first, and the drinking master. That's my first 2 forms to learn. And we have training every day, and this doesn't matter what kind of weather. Some like New York, when you won't train in the snow. And that's how we train from small, used to training outside. And I think after when I studied more about traditional martial arts,
Mm-hmm.
I found this had much more meaning.
Okay.
Especially in traditional internal arts. I found that a lot of body, mind is connected, a lot of nature, our universe. That's why I'm more and more interested to looking for the answer from the traditional side.
Well, that's interesting. It's something I talk about quite a bit because it seems as if generally the martial arts, especially in America, is more the external. People are emphasizing fighting.
Mm-hmm.
But I always think that's like digging into a bull's horn. That only goes but so far, because after you reach a certain level of proficiency with fighting, where do you go from there? You can't continue to become more deadly. The body gets older. There's only so fast you can be, so strong you can be, so many techniques you can possibly comprehend. So what is it that is after that?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about through my experience of training from external to internal. I found the Eastern philosophy between Western philosophy is very different. Western philosophy, a lot of times you can see you do it. And Eastern philosophy comes from very old Asian culture. It's a lot about talk about to understand the universe. You don't see and you do it.
Right.
That's a very big difference. And the same like you just say now, the body, because everybody follow the rule of the universe. You born, grow, and old and die. Our body is a lot physical, they only concentrate the muscles. Because our body is same like our age. When we go a certain age, our body stop growing.
Right.
Yeah, that's why people perform always try to push the limit by the muscle physical side.
Mm-hmm.
But in Chinese philosophy, then the opposite way. It means you want fast, you must not slow. You want moving, you must not what's quiet. You want to be outside strong, you must be inside strong. That's the way I understand it. That's you always opposite way to learn the real knowledge. Give you huge area to go for that.
And it also seems like it's more rewarding for people, more rewarding for our heart and our soul. I find that people I know who've concentrated only on the yang aspect, only on the hard aspect, and they're not in balance. That when they get older, they may be very deadly, but they can't pick up a cup.
Yeah.
Because of these injuries that they have, and their body has become so one-dimensional. It's this instrument, but there's no softness, you know.
Yeah.
They've damaged the joints, they've damaged the bones, and I think there's no recovery from that. And of course the organs, when you're doing these things from the organs. And then lastly, the mind. It's really difficult. They're not really pleasant people to be around when all you're thinking about is war. And so I don't think it's a good way to live.
Yeah, I think in this our world, people in Chinese call 眼见为实. It means when the way I see and you believe. That's why the things block our vision, block our purpose. There's a lot of time I teach my student. If you want to do this, I say, okay, what's your purpose want to be? Why are you training that? What you want to be? That's two questions you need to answer me. That's how I can explain what's the best way in your life to valuable. And it's very important to improve your internal more than external, because everything we do in this life, even when you talk to me, is from you mentally first.
Yes.
After you walk to this house.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why very important we need to focus our balancing and yin and yang inside first, from mentally to body. That's why like we say some people have problem on the physical side when they're getting old because they never think the excess muscle. We call 身体 in Chinese. 身 is body, 体 is part of body. That's why Westerner concentrate exercise on part of body. We exercise the real body. Like the main organ, because we have two different muscles. One is rough muscle,
Right.
usually physical.
Right.
One is soft muscle, like the heart, liver, kidney. That's why the real muscle that work for 24 hours is inside our body.
Right.
Outside this muscle is only used certain time. That's why we need to take time inside will be how outside comes from. That's why it's not about how big muscle you have, it's how strong inside you are.
That's so well said. It's so well said. I worked with bodybuilders in the 80s, and I remember people being externally strong, what have you. And at that time, a lot of people were dying.
You're right.
Because they were pushing themselves to get this external, but the organs suffered because of that extreme training and because of the extreme dietary habits to have them look a certain way externally. They were completely focusing on what they should look like, totally ignoring any of the things that were going on, because your body tells you, don't do this doesn't feel good, and they're just blocking that out until you have these people who are really strong and they walk off the stage and they have a heart attack.
You're right.
So tell me a little bit about the nuances of 7-star praying mantis. What makes the style different than say, different other forms of Kung Fu?
You see, through the time, I see if I learn any martial arts all about destiny. Chinese people very care about destiny.
Destiny.
Yes, that's why I meet my Mantis master. It's actually our family old friend. It's
Okay.
my father's classmate for many years. My grandfather long ago introduced my master to teach me something. But that time, because I in a different master, I'm not interested in other systems.
Sure.
Many opportunities don't really come together. And in 1996, I started to meet him. Actually, before that, I want to go to Shaolin Temple to learn more about them.
And you studied in the Shaolin Temple in China?
Yeah, but actually the Shaolin Temple is destroyed long ago by communists.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, that I know.
Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, no
Because
problem.
there are a lot of people now who are going to China to try and study traditional martial arts.
Yes.
And as you said, communism has wiped out a significant amount of the true things. A lot of people have come here at that time to escape being killed, which is why we had Kung Fu here in the first place, because people had to leave or they would be killed. So tell me a little bit about the impact of that in regards to training martial arts in China.
I think it's everywhere is because by the 1950 and 60, that's a very difficult time.
Okay.
In China, the communism took all the traditional culture away, not allow anyone to do any traditional belief and worship or traditional cultures. That time, people, family against family, friend against friend, and a lot of temple they destroyed, a lot of ornaments and culture and books, martial art books destroyed, burned by the fire. A lot of masters get killed because they are in the traditional arts.
Right.
That's why it's big. I think the big damage for China. The past
So
60
what
years.
what are they teaching if you go to the Shaolin Temple then?
From I understand, like say I speak to about 2 weeks ago, this friend is organized USA Open International Martial Art Tournament in New York.
Okay.
He actually told me, and he went to Shaolin Temple. That time is only 2 monks there, so everything is like very old and damaged, and there's only one monk. It's like one ice plant something, and the small monk take care about him. Now the small monk is in New York. Now he promotes some Buddhism, and at that time is anybody in Shaolin Temple. Only afterwards, 1980 beginning, they made a Shaolin Temple movie that becomes so famous. Everybody want to run to Shaolin Temple learn. A lot of kids want to go there. Even me, I want to go. Actually, I heard a lot of people when there's just empty, this temple is empty. There's no Shaolin monk.
So there's no monks, but everybody wanted to go, and you have all these teachers coming with their depth of their knowledge. I imagine it's not that high.
I think everything sort of time, the destiny of life, and through the communism destroyed the Shaolin Temple, all the culture and religion. A lot of the masters left the temple. They going to hide in the mountain or going to the village. They started teaching there. That's a lot of arts that come after going to the local market.
I see. So they were able to basically preserve the arts by going underground.
Yeah, you're right.
And then they teach a small amount of people because they don't want to draw too much attention to them. And then now I think maybe it's starting to wake up a little bit.
Yeah, I think after, because the movie also the country start open to the world, they try to hold up tours and they try to calling different master teachings out in temple, rebuild them, fighting monks, look everything like the real Shaolin temple.